and welcome to our first YA conversation. I'm George.
I'm Madeline.
I'm Zach.
And as you can see, we are practicing social distancing. But for our very first YA conversation, we're going to be tackling the topic of education and how it's been affected by COVID-19. And I'd like to introduce our special guest today. Special guest, do you want to tell us what's your name and a little bit about yourself?
Hi, my name's Stefan. I'm one of the chaplains at Western, and I'm a theology student at Huron University, just in my last semester right now. Right now, campus is pretty eerie. It's empty. There's nobody there. All the classes are online. That's working out for some, maybe not the best for others. But exams are take home. And in some ways things are better because all my deadlines are kind of open-ended right now. But a big problem I think right now is staying motivated.
How do you think people are doing that? How are people motivating themselves, or are teachers checking in with students on like an individual basis, or what's going on? How are people staying engaged?
Honestly, I think it's like networks of friends and the fact that we still do have to show up at class, at least online. So there is still a little bit of structure. But again, like the whole like self-motivation thing, I think it's just, whether you can do it or not. Do you have the drive?
Right, so you're getting these Zoom calls, and I'm just trying to picture it in my head. You're getting Zoom calls. You're getting. Do students have to make their faces show up, or can they just kind of hide behind the blank screen, or what? How's this working?
Some of them are hiding behind the blank screen. Like I wish I could.
Yeah.
And like judging by like the background, some people like choose to put up. Maybe they should be hiding them too.
Oh, that's awkward. All right, so people got to work hard to stay motivated. I saw that you're at Huron. Well, I saw that they're coming out with some innovative solutions for marking, like this whole pass-fail kind of thing. Do you think that's kind of taking the pressure off of students for this term right now, or?
If you're a first year, maybe even a second year, pass-fail is a good way to go, perhaps. But if you want to get into Ivy, that's only going to let you have one pass-fail on your transcript, and they won't let you in. Or if you're looking at going to grad school, like your third and fourth year marks mean something. And even if you did go pass-fail, a lot of schools are going to want to know what the number grade was behind it. So, like, it maybe seems like an easy way to go. Like, if I had like a 53 and didn't have to write this last essay, I might just cut out early. But if somebody's going to look at this for a further degree, it's maybe best to stick it out and do what you can. At this point, I think, professors are going to be understanding, deans are going to be understanding, and they're going to do whatever they can to help you get as good of a grade as you would have.
Right. Wow. So really, what I'm hearing you say is that you got to really dig deep. You got to remember why you're in school in the first place, right? Like you got to not necessarily treat this as checking out, like as a little vacation. You want to actually still put the effort into whatever school is available, right? So you're a Western, you're a Huron. What about I don't know if you have any contact with anyone from Fanshawe, the other big school in London, but I don't know if you've heard anything from any of those students, or you have any information about what's going on there.
I think they're pretty much in the same boat. Just everybody's at home. Like the due date to be like drop classes has been like extended open-ended. So if you were worried about failing a class, you can get like a withdrawal, like a W on your record instead of a fail.
Right.
But that's about the only real difference. Like there are like a lot more practical degrees, a lot more placements. So I think there's some worry there about what students are going to be able to do as far as that. But hopefully this is all taken care of by summer and things get back to some sense of normalcy.
Yeah.
Right. Wow. So I've heard a few things anyways from Fanshawe students, and they're also they move their classes online to Zoom as well. So stay motivated, keep working hard, and treat this like it was before. It's one of the big things I'm hearing from you. But there are some situations, there are some people who have like a different kind of experience in school where they're not just in a classroom, right? They're not just sitting and listening to lectures, but they actually need to be on campus. And unfortunately for some students, like the disruption's been really big. We've got somebody, we're gonna hear from Talia actually. We've got a little video for you from Talia. She's working on a master's in physics, and she's got a little bit of a unique scenario, a little bit of a unique situation for her schooling. So let's listen to Talia.
Hi everybody, it's Talia here. I am doing my master's in physics at Western. My degree is research-based, so I've only taken 3 courses in my degree, which I finished months ago, and I'm now just focusing on research. And the type of research I do needs to be done in the lab, which means I need to be on campus in order to finish my degree. And I need probably about 6 to 8 more weeks of data in order to make a good conclusion for my thesis. And I was able to stay in the lab until last week, but on March 20th, I found out that I was no longer allowed to be on campus. And because I believe in respecting authorities, I have not snuck back in and have been trying to get some work done from home, but it is limited what I can do from here. So there's a lot of uncertainty for my future, what this means for my degree. Will I have to stay here longer? Will I just have to cut things off and not be able to finish things with the level of excellence that I was hoping to? I can't answer these questions at this point, but in the midst of it, I'm actually really enjoying how quiet the world is and how it's forced everyone to slow down, and I feel a lot at peace, and I hope that you too are enjoying this time of rest.
Thank you, Tally, so much for sending in that video. And I think as we were watching, we were kind of hearing just in general, like students with uncertainty questions, like with all this COVID-19, am I able to finish my degree on time, like as I had scheduled it? Or should I move home because of finances? Are things going to continue, where we're not able to go in and attend classes? Or are things going to get better in a couple of weeks where I can reattend? Or even if you're planning on doing a postgraduate degree, like after this, COVID-19 has been affecting. So maybe, Stefan, can you speak to some of this uncertainty and questions that students may have?
At this point, there haven't been much for answers coming from the university for grad programs. There's been a lot for undergrads for what they can do. But I'm not even sure if they're letting people defend their thesis at the moment. Somebody in a position like Talia, it really depends on when schools open up. Like with me and my degree, I can, get books from other places other than the library and continue to do research. But, those in the lab, it's a lot different. For financial reasons, some students might have to move home. Like if this is finished up and everything's open by summer, that's one thing. But if you gotta wait till fall, it might be best for some to move home just to save money. Just because it's not like there's jobs out there for you to get money and keep in the city. I think if you do manage to graduate and stuff, like in the theology classes, they're just putting their diplomas in the mail for them.
Wow.
It's not quite the same, but with convocations being closed, I guess there's not much else people can do.
So it's a bit of a unique situation, something that the schools have probably never been through before. For students, there kind of is this uncertainty anyways when you end up graduating or something, and you're always thinking, well, what's next? But if you had to give some advice to some students like Talia right now who are kind of thinking, man, what am I going to do? There's no answers, and the school isn't actually sure what they're doing. What are some strategies, some coping strategies, or just some advice that you would give to people in a situation like what Talia finds herself in right now?
I'd say look to Jesus.
Yeah.
Call out peace, his peace, the peace that passes understanding. Just to know that you're not in this alone, that God's right there with you. Things like Psalm 121, where does my help come from?
Yeah.
From the Lord, the creator of heavens and earth. That, God, maybe didn't cause this, but, God knows what you're going through, and, God's going to help you get through this. Just put your faith in him and know that on the other side of this, all will be well.
Yes. Amen.
That's really good. Now, like you said, you're not going through this alone. God's with us, and I don't know about you, but one of the things that I see that I kind of really like in the middle of this awful circumstance actually is the way people have kind of pulled together and are working together and trying to find creative solutions together. So I look at it and I think, people in every sphere of society right now are trying to, for the most part, help each other out. And have you found the schools to be helpful, accommodating, or very, very tricky, hard to work with, or?
I found my professors to be very accommodating so far. Just open-ended due dates now, and just as helpful as they can be, is they don't really have answers right now either, and things keep changing almost day by day. But other students have been good, you know, just checking in with one another, making sure that, you know, we stay accountable and keep up on things. And just to check in on each other and, you know, see how each other are doing, you know. And we're all used to community by like through our phones now anyway. So right now, that's all we're getting.
That's true.
Yeah, well, that's really good. That's some good stuff. So what you would say, I guess, to people is keep your eyes fixed on Jesus. And I think that's just sound advice for life all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, lots of people get into school with some sort of plan, with some sort of purpose, or you know, you're going to school to better yourself and to come out on the other side of school with a degree or a job possibility. And I think it's really important, anyways, to hang on to the fact that it's Jeremiah chapter 29, verse 11, I think, where it says, you know, God says, "I know the plans I have for you, plans to prosper you, to give you a future and to give you a hope." And I think it's really important that as everybody is kind of trying to figure out how they're going to get through this and what it's going to look like on the other side, is to, like you said, keep your eyes on Jesus, stay in peace, realize that we're all kind of working our way through something together, but that God actually has a plan for our lives. He has a future and a purpose and a plan, and it's full of hope, it's full of promise, it's full of destiny. And this might be a little interruption in the plans, but as far as the vision that you had for your life going into school, right? Hold on to it. Hold on to the plans and the vision and the dream and the trust that you have in Jesus. That the good work that He started in you, not just in your person, but in your life. He is still actively engaged in your life, and He is still going to bring your life and all the circumstances to a really flourishing conclusion. So there's a lot of hope. A lot of hope. And like you said, I think if we kind of hold on to each other, stay connected with each other, continue, as you said earlier, to put the effort in, continue to engage your school, engage your studies the way that you started. Whatever is in front of you, to keep doing it. You know, take it one step at a time, a day at a time, because honestly, that's what it feels like the whole world's doing right now. Right? I mean, how many times have we, you know, watched the news and there's a new rule, there's a new regulation, there's something new, so everything's changing. So I mean, the best you can always do is just take one day at a time, keep relying on each other, do the best you can with what you have. And like Stefan said, keep your eyes on Jesus, keep your hope fixed on Him. He's got a plan for your life, and He's going to carry it through to a flourishing conclusion. So, I don't know, Stefan, do you got any final words for students out there? Any final piece of advice, something you'd like to impart to people engaged in studies right now?
The most important thing, I think, would be find an accountability partner. You know, not somebody that's going to get like mad at you if you don't do your stuff, but just somebody that you can check in with once a week. So you can tell them, this is what I've done, this is what I'm hoping to do next, and you know, just to keep, you know, some order and some, you know, something in your life like that. You know, some accountability, some structure,
and even to check in on you. How are you doing? Do you need anything? Someone to keep you company, something like that.
That's good stuff.
So I'd say that concludes today's conversation. We're doing the same thing next week, same time, Monday at 7 p.m. We'll be talking about a different topic, but we want to hear from you guys. Topics that you want to talk about, it doesn't matter what it is. You can send us a direct message, Instagram, Facebook. But yeah, thank you for joining us today, Stefan, and we'll see everybody next week.
Bye.